Hey guys, we are on today and I am talking about 2023 fitness industry predictions. So I have a lot of friends and acquaintances in the industry. We chat a lot about where it's going, what's happening, the future of it, and basically what we think is going to happen. Obviously, this is from the perspective of my echo chamber of people I follow, chat to, communicate with, have on the podcast, that kind of stuff. So I've got 5 predictions of the 2023 fitness industry, what I think is actually going on and what I think is going to happen. It'll be interesting to review this in the future and see if I actually get any of these right. So my first one is the decline of the group training franchises. So this year was a bit of a kick in the nuts for the franchises of group training. I'm talking about F45, Orange Theory, Barry's Bootcamp. Those type of companies have seen a decline in basically what's going on in their bottom line. A couple of factors I think go into this, which is, obviously the most prevalent factor at the moment is recession, the big R. It hasn't quite hit where I am in Perth, but I know it's definitely hit in other places. People that train at these types of gyms are probably not going to be affected as much by recessions than, I'd say, 247 commercial style gyms. But another reason I think is the decreasing of results. When you have a model that is not really grounded in scientific basis for getting results, you'll find that people stagnate quite considerably and quite fast. So, if you train at like an F45 or one of these types of gyms, you'll find you'll get incredible results for the first little bit, and then it'll stagnate. It'll get a little bit boring and your results will stop because there is nothing long-term or structured about anything to do with these programs. When people stop getting results, that's when a lot of people start to reassess where they're at with their training and what they're doing and usually try to change these things up. Obviously, they have a good community, which is another aspect of keeping people long-term engaged in the fitness industry. But, when the results start to wane or they stagnate, people generally will look to other solutions for getting results. The other one with, the decline of group training franchises is boredom. I know that it's really hard to keep it fresh in the fitness industry, and we have this, instant gratification style mindset that goes on with the general population where they want to try stuff new and they want to mix it up and they want to keep it fresh. And I think these types of gyms, you put a different name on it, F45, what's the other one? BFT. It's all kind of the same shit, really. And people just get a little bit bored of, jumping around on a Bosu ball, doing some burpees and, dancing around to some remixed music that they got off the radio. Like, that does get boring eventually. And this is, once you've done one, you've kind of done them all. And that's my, big main prediction for next year. I think small boutique gyms will take a little bit of a market share here that have smarter programming, that get better results. They aren't like a franchise. From what I can see, they are doing a lot better. My second major prediction for the 2023 fitness industry is the dominance of online training players that are going to take more of a market share. So we have, in the fitness industry, we have like an online aspect to it. And from what I can see, most of it is dominated by the big players where they charge a subscription like $40, $50, $60, $70 a month. And, you can follow our program, join our community, like that kind of thing. That's been wildly popular as far as I can tell. The reason I think they do really well is because they don't have a bunch of overheads. Like any type of brick and mortar gym has massive overheads, from like insurance to your rent to staffing costs, like all these types of things is super expensive, especially in first world countries in, populated city style areas. The second reason why they do super well is they have a lot of high profile affiliates. So you'll get some famous person on Instagram saying, I'm following this program. Other, unsuspecting, I won't say victims, but people that follow them are like, I want to do the program that X is doing, which, might be good, it might not be good, but there's that whole influencer style marketing, which a lot of these companies have nailed really well. And then the last reason is they're improving their systems, and most of them have apps. So the systems get better, the results get better, they can have a better client experience, and then most of them are developing their own apps, which are not cheap. So from the last time I checked this, to create like a fitness style app for programming is like anywhere from 50 to 250K, and they're just constantly reinvesting in their product to make these things better. So I definitely think the online space is getting better. A lot of these companies are getting into, some kind of AI technology or artificial intelligence, where you'll have a program and then you punch in a bunch of criteria, and it will increase or decrease the intensity or reps or sets according to how you're feeling. How well that works and how well the results are, it's debatable, but they are pushing the forefront of technology in terms of fitness industry, which is cool. In my opinion, I don't think anything is going to beat the intensity that you can get with training with other people. Even if you are following this program, training at a 247 big box, whatever it is, I don't think the results are definitely going to be as good. But, it's like a cheap, I say it's cheap. Other people balk at the price, but, $50, $60 a month for a program is, I think that's super reasonable, but I think most things are pretty reasonable in the fitness industry anyway. People balk at $50 a month for a program, they're probably not going to be the type of person that's super committed to it anyway, nor get the type of results that are going to be justifiable for that price point. So I guess like in the fitness industries, you get what you pay for. My third major prediction for the fitness industry in 2023 is the resurgence of personal training, one-on-one, two-on-one, whatever it is. For the three main reasons, I think, is like the quality is a lot of times a lot better. I think the COVID era was good for weeding out a lot of the shit in the fitness industry. If you were not a great coach or a personal trainer, there was probably a high likelihood that you found your way out of the industry. I think what's left now is a lot of high quality coaches and PTs going around that are getting great results. And, fitness is a life cycle as well. Once someone falls out with group training or the 247 style or, yoga or Pilates or anything like that, they're going to change to something new. And once they change to something that is good and they are getting results, usually a lot of people will stick with that over time. So I see a bit of a resurgence in terms of the lifestyle in personal training. From what I can see, a lot of my friends are personal trainers. They've been in the game for a long time. They're, career PTs, and they're all killing it and they're all doing super well. I think there is a little bit more of this mentorship style thing going around, where really good personal trainers will mentor younger personal trainers, and the crop will kind of lift the standard, which is great. When I was first starting out, there was nothing like that. There was no other personal trainers helping you get better. It was basically like work it out on your own, and that's kind of it. The second reason I think there's a resurgence, or there will be a resurgence in personal training, because the results are generally better. And I always think about this. I think if I had a group training client of mine who was like half-assing it, showing up 3 to 4 times a week, and then I would do one-on-one personal training with that same person, which scenario would get better results? Obviously, the person training with me one-on-one would get results. So if you plug and play that same type of scenario in any type of group training versus personal training gym, depending on the coach, I think they're going to get better results in the personal training. Obviously, like the affluence and the kind of financial disposal that the person has is going to dictate their opinion on what they do. Like a good personal trainer is going to be $85 to $100 an hour, a couple times a week. There's not too many people that can afford that, but the ones that do are going to get ridiculous results. I definitely do think that personal training will deliver results across the board with a good trainer better than any other form of fitness, which is great. And the third reason here is there is a lower barrier to entry in terms of like mentally. What I mean by that is people are less scared to engage a personal trainer than go to a group style gym or jiu-jitsu or MMA or yoga or these types of things, because it's, honestly, training with one person is less scary than getting absolutely smashed in a group class and feeling like you're going to be a failure or get made a fool of, which, I kind of agree with as well. Most or a lot of the actually inquiries I get on my website is for personal training. for those reasons, people want to do group training, but they're a little bit scared of it and they don't really know what to expect. Whereas like one-on-one personal training has been around for a lot longer. So, mentally and, anxiety based, there's a lot less barrier to entry for one-on-one training. From what I can see, it's definitely making a resurgence for 2023. My fourth prediction is that the 24/7 gym race to the bottom financially, who can charge the cheapest, is winding to a close. There has been a period over the last couple of years where, one 247 will come out and say, we do $15 a week memberships. The next one will say, we do 14, we do 12, we do 10, we do 987, we do 6, get 6 months free. That has ceased for me for a couple of reasons, because I think there is more of a focus on quality coming about in the industry. No one really wants to go to some shitty 247 that has the bare bones equipment, where they could just go somewhere that has great equipment, a better vibe, and high quality people around. I think there is more of like, people are happy to pay a little bit more if the gym is good, and the trainers are good and it's clean and, it's a good vibe and they play decent music. Like, there is less of a who can be cheapest and, what is actually a good gym these days, which I love. I think it was watered down and diluted for quite a while, where everyone was just racing to the bottom. You can only go so low with a gym membership pricing as well before it becomes completely ridiculous to be giving out $6 a week gym memberships, especially with like inflation and the way the economic cycle is at the moment. It's just getting outrageous at how cheap people were making 247 gym memberships. Obviously, like, a huge portion of their market is people not showing up and not using the service at all. But at some point, you need to wonder, is like, are we actually charging enough here to keep the doors open? This is why a lot of gyms go out of business, because they just don't charge enough, full stop. It's all well and good for, you can weather it for a year or 2 years, but then you get a GST bill and a tax bill and something breaks, and then all of a sudden you're left up shit creek trying to draw a wage and fix your business, which is not the greatest thing ever. And my fifth and final fitness industry prediction for 2023 is the growth and the explosion of MMA and BJJ style gyms, or, coaches or these types of things. They are, from what I can see, taking a market share from general fitness or CrossFit or strength and conditioning, where a lot of people are saying, I can stay fit, that's cool, but I could do a BJJ comp, or I could do an MMA comp, and I could get a belt, or I could go from white to purple to whatever belt they want, where it's also like a accomplishment style fitness, where we are getting fit and then we're also getting a belt, and we also are putting us instead to protect ourselves, protect our family, these types of things. The BJJ MMA scene is getting a lot cooler, so to speak, and it seems like they are dragging in more of the general style fitness crowd. For someone to, let's say in Western Australia, 12 to 16% of people go to the gym. That 12 to 16% of people are probably going to be more likely to do BJJ or MMA rather than the 84% of people that don't. So they're drawing from the same pool of people. Obviously, this pool of people is also always growing, but I think it's a lot easier for them to market and get that type of person that already is training into the doors. So I only see this aspect of the industry growing. People inherently do love fighting, which is something primal maybe. But, I know a lot of people that froth this aspect to the fitness industry. So in summary, guys, my 2023 fitness industry predictions is the decline of group training franchises specifically, the dominance of online training players that are going to take more of a market share, the resurgence of one-on-one personal training, the price competition at 247 gyms racing to the bottom will slowly subside or almost disappear, and then the growth and evolution of the MMA/BJJ kind of like fight martial arts style gyms will continue to grow. So the cost of the show, guys, if you got something out of this, please share it, chuck it on your story, let me know. It's been a fun one to record, but I think this is where the industry is going next year.